This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, so hi everyone. Welcome to this fire starter track orientation session. And this is HL7 India Fire Connectathon 2021. And this is our second edition. About myself, my name is Aditya Joshi, and I'm part of HL7 India as one of the governing council member. So I chair HL7 India Education Committee, and as well as so apart from organizing the event, I'm also part of this track, Fire Starter track, as a track lead. So interestingly, I started my journey with HL7 only when I started my career almost 13 years back. The very first project I started with was on HL7 standards only. That was version 3 that time. Unfortunately, I got a chance to work on version 2, version 3, CDA, and all other HL7 standards, including Fire from last many years. So yes, and I have also gone through certifications, and I also work with HLSN International as one of their senior faculty. So there are some courses which I run for them, and where I'm course coordinator and tutor, and there are some courses where I act as a tutor only. So that's about me. Quick update about me. So this track is something very useful for anyone who is starting their journey on fire. So if you have heard about fire, but if you think that yes, you just know maybe the full form, or you maybe just you have had some conversations on fire that yes, in the project we have understood. Yeah, we know that it's something, it's a standard and it uses JSON or XML, and then there is something called API and we use it. If you think that your knowledge is very less, or you are just starting your journey on fire, then this is the track for you. Okay. And gradually during the pre-connectathon sessions, we will have 2 to 3 sessions, at least 2 sessions in pre-connectathon to give you a good idea about what is fire server, the conceptual idea. And during the event itself, we will talk about um, during the event we will talk more about fire, and we will do some hands-on kind of a thing. So hands-on, basically, as I said, the whole intent of this connectathon event is not really a training, but it's more of we do something and we try to learn. So it's not like that of it's formally I'm teaching you fire query or API, but when I will give you exercises, when we do some hands-on things during connectathon, like uh, setting up a postman, then we will try out some queries, we will talk about some use cases, and the most important objective, most important key part would be that we need to understand how by using fire we can solve the interoperability issue. Maybe take an example. If a client is coming to you and saying that okay, we want entire scheduling system to be built on top of fire, that means the systems, the applications, you don't need fire to build them. But when it comes to data exchange, that means, and let's say I'm using a patient facing app. From that app, as a patient, I want to find out what all slots are available for a doctor. Now that information is in EMR, EHR, right? That is there in the, or whatever the scheduling system and provider side. Now we need integration, we need some connection, we need a way so that this request can go to the EMR and EMR can send back the information. That is what interoperability is, right? And that we can achieve through fire. Using fire we can, so that's what we will taste during connectathon event also, that how we will take some use cases and we will try to see if I use fire. When I say I use fire, what it means really? Two things. One is resource, another is API. And there you will see API is really nothing. It's just a REST API is nothing more of a URL. And but it's a standard thing. That means Fire already have provided us the mechanism how to write that entire URL in order to request for something like this use case. Give me all the slots available for a particular doctor. We can actually write a REST API, Fire standard API, Fire standard URL in a proper way, a query. Generally in Fire, we call it a query, search or query in a standard way, which a receiver can receive and they can respond back with the appropriate data. So that those are going to be the things which we will cover over there. So as I said, this is the whole idea about Firestarter track. What we are going to do in detail now. This is orientation session. That means we are going to talk about what actually we are going to do. Okay, so that you can understand in more detail that yes, this is the track where I want to go further, or this is the track which can really help me. No prerequisite at all. So if you are starting, I mean, if you even don't know full form of fire, that's completely fine for this track. That's where it's a starter track. Okay, and in the next session, I will also talk about that what tools we need. On the tool side, all we need is so what we really need is on tool side, we will use standard fire servers. Okay, so we will use publicly available fire servers. What that mean is we don't have, and this is not a technical track, right? So we are not going to deal with implementing or building fire server, but there are publicly available fire server. We are going to use them. So what I will do, I will provide the list of such servers which we are going to use during the event, so that you can check whether you are able to access them within your from your laptop. Maybe some of you might be using your office laptop during the event. If you are going to continue using that, then in some organizations you might see that those URLs are prohibited or you are not able to reach to them. Okay, so you can try out already. Then we will need a Postman, which is nothing going, it's just simply a REST client. Okay, how to use Postman is something we will also learn during the event. Okay, so on tool side, that's it. So this is just a URL, not really something you need to download, just a URL which you have to see whether you are able to access or not. And this is a software which you need to download. Okay, clear. And now what we will do is, so during pre-connectathon, we will have a couple of sessions, 2 sessions of, or maybe 3 sessions of 1 hour each, or we can have, I think, we will keep 2 sessions, each session of 1 hour 15 minutes to 1 hour 30 minutes. So roughly 2.5 hours to 3 hours of lecture, and that's like a pure learning lecture. So to make your base. So I will consider that right now maybe you have no idea about fire. That's how I will start. I will start with very basic. What is fire? Why we need fire? There are already HL7 standards, version 2, version 3, CDA. Then why we need another standard like fire? So we will start our journey from there. We will understand what is fire, what are the key components of fire, resources, APIs. What when you say fire server, a lot of time you will heard about these words, server, facade, what that really mean. And let's try to understand everything in a as simple as manner possible. See, this track intent is not to make things complex, but to make your understanding right, to make your understanding on fire, to make things simple. So we will not go in the technicality of the server, but a very fundamental thing, and those are very relevant thing. If somebody today also tell me that okay, we won't need to build a fire server, I know what they really want. How is a technical part, but what is something we can learn. Okay, so first that those next two or sessions, actual sessions on starter track, will give you a good amount of understanding about fire. We will also talk about how you can navigate into the fire site. So when you go to, this is fire site, right? What is R4? What is STU3, R2? A little about version compatibility. They are not really compatible. All the fire standards are not compatible to each other. So how to deal with such situations, how to navigate with this site, where to start. This is such a big, it's like a site website, complete website with hundreds of pages. So where to start, what to look, where to go if you are not able to find something, some basic idea about that. So that way these will be like a, that's like an introduction to fire training program. Generally when I do very basic 3 hours webinar training program, where uh, the intent is just introduction to fire. So that we will do in during pre-connectathon itself. Now what we will do during connectathon, so we will have a quick recap of whatever we discuss during this next 2 sessions. We will have a very quick 1 hour recap, because a lot of people will be there who will join newly. Ideally, obviously, they should go through these pre-connectathon sessions already, but if not, we will cover a very quick introduction here. Then this is the very important day. Next day, 11th December, we are going to go in detail now. So we will see how fire is going into an action. I'll give you a basic app we have built where you can try out things on a functional level. Okay, so here we will see fire in action. That means how using fire we can, using fire resource and API, we can access the data. Okay, so we will gonna request, we are going to execute some fire queries, and we are going to uh, see fire in action. Okay, and here again the intent won't be to teach you upfront, but to give you problems and you try to solve it, and then I help in understanding the concept. Okay, then and we will cover this on high level, not in detail what we are going to do. So but fire in action, then we'll talk about resources, how you should try to find out the resources for your use case. We'll talk about some extension framework, and then we will take some use case, like the entire use case, and then that use case again, it's like a complete story I have built, and that story you have to solve. While you are solving, you will understand more about this fact that how we can use fire to solve the healthcare interoperability. And we will focus on two things: one is resource, and that another is API. Those are the most basic, or you can say the fundamental building blocks of fire. These are the two components where we our emphasis will be there during the learning. Okay, because fire has lot many things. You have bundles, you have advanced querying, then you have the profiling part. Profiling itself is a big topic, right? Operations in fire, so many more things are there, but our focus will be on the, as the name suggests, starter track. We will focus more on fire, resource concept and API concept. Okay, but yeah, overall it will give you immense amount of knowledge. If you are starting with fire, it will give you good amount of knowledge to or to build your base. On top of it, you can try learning further, or you can go and join further training programs, but then you know what it is, so understanding and working on fire will become easier. Great, so that's basically a summary about the track and what I wanted to share. Any questions? Let me see if we have any questions over here. Anyone have any questions?
I have one question. This is Faniraj
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So you mentioned about different versions of this Fire APIs, right? So will you be
Mhm.
talking about very specific changes to each of these versions, or will be talking in general?
No, no, I was talking about this, not API, but the Fire standard itself. Like this is
Oh,
release 4. So this is Fire specification R4, but previously we also have three more specifications: DSTU1, DSTU2, STU3, and R4. Like if when we build our software, we give a versioning, right? These are
mhm.
publications, Fire actual publications. So yes, we will not basically what has changed in and
No,
out,
but my
because
question is, will there be any breaking changes between the two versions of
yes,
this
yes, yes.
Fire API?
Exactly. That is what
Oh,
I will touch upon in the version compatibility
fine.
topic, where we see, yes, there are breaking changes. There are
Mhm.
huge changes. Changes like there was one resource in previous edition, previous publication. That resource is altogether not available in the next one. So
Okay,
those are like beyond breaking changes. Something, let's say your software was on STU3 using XYZ resource, procedure request, or some other resource, and that resource is altogether gone in R4. So yes, we will touch upon the conceptual part. Yes.
sure, sure. Oh, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, next question. Anything you want to know, because this is more of orientation session, so you can um, ask any of your doubt, any confusions.
Hey, hi, this is Maz here. So I have one question. So you mentioned about the software. So Postman, we should have it on our system so that we can query, right? Or use
That is correct. That is correct. You have to download it basically on your local machine.
any specific version of Postman?
No, no,
Other,
not really. Download anything. So go to Postman and whatever the latest version available, just download that.
sure. Okay.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to ask you whether you will be going through the resources that are there in Fire, and will you be explaining how those resources are arranged, or what are the requirements for those resources
On a high level, yes,
in this
but
track?
there are 145 resources. So we won't be going into each resource and trying to understand, okay, the purpose of this resource is what? What is the purpose of this resource? No, because
Mhm.
that will take more than even 2 days just going through the 145
Correct.
resources. So no, we will not go into
Okay.
all of the
Okay.
resources, but obviously in our use case, we might cover a couple of resources during Connectathon. We will cover some resources. Obviously, when we are querying or when we are trying to solve some interoperability requirement, then obviously we'll touch upon some resources. But then what I can definitely cover is that high level thing that I will anyways cover. So basically, when you come, when in the next very first session, when we'll come over here, I'll talk about, okay, these are the resources, how they are organized, and a very quick overview of this entire page, but not going into each resource individually.
Okay. Fine.
And that won't be needed also. Needed means even generally when you learn fire in and out, what we should emphasize is understanding any one resource. So if I open patient
Mm-hmm.
resource, we should focus on what
Mm.
things are there in on this page. If we are able to understand this,
Correct.
all these things, then the same, because it's the same structure, it's the same methodology for defining each and every
Mm-hmm.
resource. And interesting part is, once we know the technicality of the fire, who will understand which resource better? That depends purely on your functional knowledge. So fire, functionally, if somebody wants to understand, the better people would be the healthcare people rather than the technical people. But obviously at the end of the day, everything has to be implemented, especially like more complex resources, medications or claim, all these, if you go and read the definitions, they are more on the functional side. But yes, we will cover some basic part of it, not going into each resource.
Yeah, I mean, probably I asked the question incorrectly. I just when you had opened the next tab, I my question was morely on the structure of the resource, because yeah, like how these are arranged, what is the meaning of this, what is the meaning of 0 to star and all those things.
Not everything again, because that would be like a
Ah,
proper going into detailed training program. And then in such things, yes, and it's very much useful to know. Not useful, but it's, I would say, anyone who says that yes, I have learned fire properly, that person should know
hmm.
each and every component written in this table. If you know that, that means you
Yeah.
know the resource very well, and not just theoretically, but believe me, these flags, cardinality, data type, what is written here, what is this, everything, when we try to understand in detail, conceptually and practically, whether we go for certification exam preparation, whether we are working in fire, technically, functionally, whatever, these concepts will always come into picture. So no, I mean, obviously the connectathon, in connectathon we won't be able to cover each and everything. So yes, basic things like this is resource and few things over here, and
Mm-hmm.
a few basic fundamental, but not typically, not in a typical fashion where we go in and talk about each and everything, like what is X, what is binding strength, what types of binding strength, and all other things. So probably again on high
Okay.
level.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Hi Aditya, one quick question. So just wanted to check on Postman, right? There's a web version of Postman too. So in your opinion, would we be able to have a successful experience with that, or do we need the version that's to be downloaded and installed?
I haven't used web version. It should work. I think it shouldn't have any. But I haven't tried it. Ideally, it should work, but I'm not sure. All I have always tried it after downloading it on local machine.
Okay, so the most we're going to do is use a lot of GET requests, right? So I can try that out with
Yes.
different servers and see if that works. And
Yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
okay,
And not even just get, but along with get, we will also have post and put.
okay, got it, got it. So I'll
We will
just
have
test those
all
out.
the.
And yeah,
Yes. Yes.
cool. That's helpful. Thanks, Aditya.
Yeah.
Hey
Yeah,
Aditya,
one question. Yeah.
yeah, one question from my side. Will
Hmm.
you be also be going into the test aspects and test management aspects of while this fire is being used?
No, no. Not really. There will, I mean, not like exactly on focusing on testing anything, not really. It, as I said, more it will be like understanding fire and then understanding the API part and then and connect. It's a connectathon, so we have to try out things. That's the I mean idea of learning anything. So it will be more of solving some use cases from the resource perspective and as well as from the API perspective. Like I have an entire patient journey map where it's more of a complete use case where you guys go and try to solve that use case by finding out the right resources, and then if uh, if you guys have understood the API concept, you can even try out the uh, figuring out the right set of APIs to solve that.
Okay.
But during our
So,
pre-connectathon sessions, when we are going to talk about generically about fire, right? So what is fire and server and facade and going through the fire site, why we need fire. During that time, theoretically, definitely, whatever questions you guys have, if we have time, you guys can ask those questions, not a problem. So not in action we will see, but conceptually, if you want to ask things to me and if I'm aware, I would be happy to answer those things.
no, why I asked the question because the intended audience is also a test manager being put. So,
Hmm?
yeah, that's the reason why I'm put that question.
Okay. No, but yeah, not typically. I mean, there are no actual things which are focused to, or which we have developed in focus with testing aspects.
Okay.
So, but yeah, in general, I mean, in my understanding, generally when we do, it's more of API. Either it's an API testing or resource validation and all those. So conceptually, we'll cover those parts, but not like there is a use case where we are focusing on test management for fire resources or how testing should be done and other things.
Okay.
Okay, I think I can see one question on the chat. What is the difference between Fire and OpenEHR? Or not, I'm not too much aware about OpenEHR, but I've heard things. I'm not really expert of that, but OpenEHR gives you their own repository. It's like it's like they have a standard um schema, right? The actual schema where you can put all your data. So somebody is sending me a data where the first name is they are using first underscore name. Somebody can say FN, somebody can say something else, and then we all normalize that data and put into one single place, one single column. That is like one example. Other example is like standardize of the codes. So how you manage all your healthcare data into one single uniform database schema is probably OpenEHR. Again, as I said, that's what a basic level I know. I can definitely talk about Fire. So I'm not sure about the comparison, but see, Fire, very first thing we should, the way it used is it's an interoperability standard. So if take a simple example, as a patient, I'm going to a hospital, meeting to a registration clerk, and they are registering me in the hospital, and then registration clerk started my encounter. No Fire needed. No, not at all. No fire needed at all. No HL7 standard needed. It's the EMR, EHR, that module, that software is needed to do all that thing, right? To record patient data, to do all these things. But we really don't need fire for this. But now imagine that there is a OPD system, there is a billing system, and now registration system module, a independent software has to communicate this admission of patient or registration of patient to these different systems. Then your HL7 standards will come into picture. Either you use version 2, either you use Fire, whatever we want to use. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the basic principle of HL7 standard is any standard interoperability. That means we have some healthcare data and we want to exchange in standard format. So when you say standards, the key part of standard is nothing in these all HL7 standards. When you say standard, the word standard, what is standard? Format only. But we will see in the next sessions that apart from format, Fire also focuses on one more thing, and that is API. That was missing in version 2, version 3 CDA. They don't talk about standard API. You choose your own API, but not standard API. What is standard in Fire? When you say format is one thing, but how this API is standard, that's what we are going to see in the upcoming sessions, that how Fire has come up with the approach of coming up standard API. Okay, so then, but yes, this is the most basic fundamental. Now a lot of other advanced use cases are there where you can like smart on Fire apps are there, which is basically you're authenticating the app using Fire APIs or OAuth2 APIs for authentication, then exchange of data, querying. There are use cases where we build patient or person registries, like a hospital. All the patients whomsoever have registered in that hospital, they create a separate demographic database of those patients, person registry, independent of all their clinical records. And that data can be exposed in Fire. So that is something, another use case of Fire, we call it Fire registries. Right, terminology, where terminologies we all know, CD, ICD, or LOINC, and there are so many other terminologies available. So those LOINC databases and all those things, they are not Fire really, but I can have a system where I have all these dictionaries available, these actual codes available in my backend, and I expose the data, expose the codes using Fire. So somebody requested my terminology server, give me a code for asthma. How they will request this? Yes, it can be done through Fire. How they will respond back? Yes, that can be done through Fire. It doesn't mean that ICD codes stored in the backend is Fire codes. They are independent. So that is, these are various use cases you can use Fire, but essentially it's exchange of data, interoperability. Okay. One other question, what basic knowledge skills should one possess before getting into starter track? None. That's why it is a starter track, right? None, not really. I don't expect even you to know anything on Fire. Even if you don't know past HLSON standards, that's okay. That's completely fine. If you know REST API as a concept already, that will help you, because when we during Connectathon, when we'll try out few things on the API side, I'm not going to basically teach API separately. It's not like what is REST API and this and that. But then if you know JSON, if you know API things already, it might help you, but not at all a prerequisite. If you don't know, that's completely fine. So no prerequisite. Okay. Any other questions? Or maybe you can even go ahead and give me suggestions also. I'm open. It's not like it has to go through hard and fast agenda. If you guys most welcome to give, if it's possible. See, because at the end of the day, it's not really a formal training program. And second thing is, whatever time we have, in that time duration only, we have to see what we can achieve. Okay. Any questions, any suggestions, any comments? Okay, now so we will have at least 2 sessions I'm planning. I think let me see the how other tracks have planned their session. I don't want, at least during pre-connectathon, we should not have conflict, so that I mean, you guys can join starter track as well as you can join the other tracks also. And starter track sessions can help you because it will teach you very basic fundamental. It will make your base on the Fire, and then you can also try and join other tracks. So I'll just check out the agenda, but mostly we will have 2 sessions, one next week, 1.5 hour, and then during the first week of December, another session for 1.5 hour. So these 2 sessions we will cover the Fire fundamentals or basics, or you can say introduction to Fire. So very useful sessions. If you are starting or learning Fire first time, you will get immense knowledge in those 2 sessions itself. So I'll publish the date today, and you will also get an email about both the sessions. Mostly, I think the calendar, as per the current calendar, it will be Thursday, 5 p.m. So But yeah, I'll check out the current calendar. One question: multiple tracks will be running at the same time during Connectathon. That is correct. So how is it possible to join more than one track? You can, that we will have a platform for that. Over there you will log in and it will be your choice which track you want to join, and you can come out from that track and you can join another track. But obviously, I mean, at the same time, obviously you can't attend both the tracks. You have to be in one track at a time. So ideally that should be the way, because every track is talking one specific area. Choose what is your area of interest and then go to that particular track. In fact, during pre-connectathon also you should focus on, or anybody should focus on those tracks. But during pre-connectathon, the our sessions are not colliding most, till now at least, right? And hopefully in for upcoming couple of weeks it won't be the case. So during pre-connectathon, uh, you can go ahead and join multiple track sessions, not a problem, right? But yeah, during Connectathon, anyways, that's the idea of Connectathon, that you should stick to one particular track and give your 100% to that track, or try to get 100% from that track, right? And that's why they are in parallel. So here in this our Connectathon, this HLC in India, this is all our community Connectathon. Here, it's the design is little different. I mean, apart from hands-on and solving problem, there is a learning curve also. There is a learning involved. In every track, you will learn something. In typical Connectathons at internationally, there are hardly any learnings. Learnings means not formal learnings, not somebody's teaching you something, but it's more of like you go in a track, you discuss things, and you talk advanced things already. That means you have reached to a certain level, and then you discuss with like-minded people in that particular track. Okay, we are doing this thing, you are doing that thing. What are your experiences? What fire should change? Those kind of things. But here you will enjoy every track because every track will teach you something. But yes, at the end, one track you should stick during the Connectathon. One question: shall we get recordings of the real track, or real tracks will be like a two-day thing, right? So I don't think it's gonna be record. And even if it's record, it will be in GBs, like gigabytes. So recordings of the real track won't be any useful also, because during the actual tracks it will be less of learning, less of theoretical things, less of really sessions. It will be more of hands-on thing, more on trying out things. So those things, even if it's recorded, won't be very useful. So the Connectathon event entirely, some parts might be recorded, some parts which are actual hands-on thing might not be. So that will have to see after the event is over. Okay. Any other questions, any suggestions, comments from anyone? No? No more questions? Then I think we are almost on time. We still have 4 minutes, 5 minutes left if you have any questions. Okay, guys, then as there are no more questions, I think we are good to close today's session. And I'll very soon update you about the next two sessions, 1.5 hour of actual sessions, where we are going to learn about it properly. One question: do you think it will be great to read any documents related to fire and all? Not really for fire starter track. I mean, I won't suggest anything to do right now if you are joining fire starter track, because the very next session we will start with very, very basic thing. So I think those two sessions itself will give you fundamental knowledge. Beyond that, if you want to read something after those sessions, the best place to read about fire is fire site only. no other better place. Okay, so we'll talk about Fireside, we'll talk about some concept. After that, after those two sessions are over, then it will be a good thing to come down to site again and go through some of the things. Okay. Okay, then thanks everyone for joining today's session. I'll see you all in the next session.